A very good evening and welcome to the State of Business on our television. This is Madhusha Palakumar. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines first. Workshop on the critical role of Parliament and parliamentarians in implementing SDGs to be held on 12th to 14th of October. Earnings from merchandise exports surpasses $1 billion. Now the stories in detail. A workshop on the critical role of Parliament and parliamentarians in implementing the Sustainable Development Goals will be held from 12th to 14th of October in Colombo. A media briefing with regard to this was held in Colombo today.
With the support of UNDP and IPU, we put a 3-day workshop starting this Friday with the Speaker of the House, Honorable Kalu Jayasuriya, and all the respective parliament groups or other political parties are represented. So there we are discussing, debating, arguing on how and what contributions the members can make, and the role of the parliament, what they can do to support SDG over a period of time. There we have got some experts flying from IPU, Interparliamentary Union, and also the experts coming from UNDP to support this conference to make sure we all understand as members of parliament what we have to do, what we can do. So therefore it is important that the SDG is being looked into by the members of parliament. So
earnings from merchandise exports surpassed $1 billion for the second consecutive month in July 2018. Accordingly, earnings from exports increased by 5.7% year-on-year to $1,073 million. Earnings from industrial exports contributed to increased export earnings, while agricultural and mineral exports recorded poor performance during the month. Under industrial exports, earnings from export of petroleum products increased significantly due to high export prices of bunker and aviation fuel, despite reduction in volumes. Export earnings from transport equipment increased considerably during the month owing to the export of a cruise ship to Singapore. Reflecting the increase recorded in almost all subcategories, earnings from machinery and mechanical appliances increased substantially in July 2018. In addition, earnings from food, beverages and tobacco, gems, diamonds and jewelry, chemical products, base metals and articles and animal fodder increased in July 2018, contributing towards increasing industrial exports. However, export earnings from textiles and garments declined marginally in July 2018 due to the decline in demand from the USA and non-traditional markets such as Canada, UAE and Australia, and the base effect, which reflected significantly high export earnings in July 2017. Meanwhile, workers' remittances recorded a moderate decline of 1.6% year-on-year to $619 million in July 2018. During their first press briefing in Colombo this afternoon, Rata Surakimu released their vision and mission statements along with their proposed action plans.
Since the gaining of our independence, is that we have brought parties, political parties to form governments but not built up a state, Rajya. We need to build up a state and the institutions. We need to see what is going wrong with our institutions, how do we strengthen that, and that we see as a way forward in attaining a proper democratic form of government in our country. Towards this objective, we have now thought of a short-term and a long-term plan. One is that we have submitted to because we find that unsuitable persons or persons not with the intention of doing service to the public are being brought to office, and that we see as a major reason why our institutions have not been strengthened and why even public servants have forgotten that they're public servants and have become government servants of the day. We see this as a huge problem, and towards that purpose we have asked the Elections Commission under the Right to Information law for all parliamentarians at the last election who are present in parliament and those members of the Western Provincial Council. Now you might ask me why only the Western Province? Because we want to do this as a pilot project and thereafter see the result of it and go forward. We have asked the Elections Commission to give us how many of these elected representatives who live on the public funds, who survive on public money, have declared the assets, declaration of assets and declarations. We have also submitted a request under the Right to Information law to the Department of Inland Revenue, asking them how many of our elected representatives, both in Parliament and the Western Province, have opened up files for the declaration of their income.
Speaking further, Attorney at Law Krishmal Varnasuri elaborated upon the long-term plan of Ratasurakimu.
Our long-term plan, we hope to congregate as a forum once a month. And as I said, because we have not instilled policy, because we have not put up institutions, but only formed political parties and governments and gone behind red, blue or green politics, we want to have a forum every month where we invite a professional from a varying area. It may be transport, it may be health, it may be education, to come once a month and speak to us and tell us where is our policy, is there a policy, if there is, where have we gone wrong, what do we have to do to correct it, and where do we ought to go.
Let's take a look at more news after this short break. Welcome back. A new report by the Advocata Institute titled Price Controls in Sri Lanka Political Theatre finds that consumer price controls lead to unintended outcomes, including lower quality products. Price controls have been imposed on a variety of items in the belief that capping prices will lower costs, but the survey shows that they are of limited value in controlling the costs of goods.
Prices are actually imposed by gazette notification. So what we did was we visited the place and we extracted the gazettes one by one and we compiled the price list. And then we compared this with the Census and Statistics Department weekly survey of the market prices. What they do is they survey all the main markets in Colombo, not the supermarkets but the public markets. So they have an average from there. Now, when you look at the Census and Statistics surveys, they have big coconuts, small coconuts, medium-sized coconuts and average coconuts, right? Now, the price control is on one kind of coconut. Now, nobody knows what kind of coconut this is, right? So, we have compared it with the average. The small coconuts are always below the control price. The large coconuts are always above. The average, you can see how it goes. It touches the control price every so often, but is never at the control price. Now, a government can control the price, but they can't actually control the underlying fundamentals that lie below. So, what usually happens is various distortions and unusual actions which you see as shortages or quality problems or whatever can surface. It depends on at what level the prices are controls are imposed and what the impact is.
The inauguration of the 10th Biennial Conference of the Asia Pacific Association for Medical Informatics 2018 was held in Colombo last evening. The 4-day conference is organized by the Asia Pacific Association for Medical Informatics in collaboration with the Health Informatics Society of Sri Lanka. This year, the conference is held under the theme Transforming Healthcare Through Innovation in Digital Health. The main purpose of the APAMI 2018 conference is to bring together researchers from around the world who are working in health informatics and to share their knowledge and expertise. Speaking during the event, the newly elected president of the Asia Pacific Association of Medical Informatics, Vajra H.W. Disanayake, made the following remarks.
The Health Informatics Society of Sri Lanka was launched to coincide with the formation of the Asia Pacific Association of Medical Informatics to spearhead the implementation of medical informatics in the Asia Pacific region. I believe that the formation of the association has roots in a resolution in EMEA to foster medical informatics in the Asia Pacific region. This week has been a tremendous week, I should say, because it's not only the APAMI conference that we are hosting here in Colombo. We are hosting almost 6 parallel conferences. APAMI this year is special because as a special track of APAMI, we also convene the Global Telehealth Conference. We have 2 days of that, tomorrow and day after. And then we move on to the innovation part of the conference with the Commonwealth Digital Health Conference, the Sri Lanka Digital Health Conference, and of course the Commonwealth Digital Health Awards, where we are recognizing innovation across the Commonwealth.
Let's see how the stocks performed after this short break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 8.36 points to close at 5,872.02, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 1.98 points to close at 3,000.16. The turnover was 230.5 million rupees and 31.8 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. With that, we are wrapping up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more news. Until then, take care. Good night.